Welcome back to the Brandon Show, everyone, with your host, me, Brandon Watkins. And now today's episode, we're talking about mental health. So let's get right into it while I'm going to explain what is mental health. So what is mental health? It includes our emotional, psychological, and social well-being, and it affects how we think, feel, and act, and stuff like that. So basically, it's the management of your own emotions, I think, and also the way you behave and act as a human being is what mental health is to me. And now I'm gonna just talk over the different mental health disorders. And while I do that, I have some cards here, and I'm gonna read out what I have written down. So let's get into it. So the first thing is clinical depression, which is characterized by persistently depressed mood or loss of interest, basically. Also, depression is someone who is very sad or very much like feeling alone or not being a part of something, or just very sad, just in general. Anxiety disorder, feeling worried all the time to where it interferes your daily activity. So you're just so worried about everything that is going on in our world, or everything to the very little details about what's going on in your life, is what anxiety disorder is, if I had explained that. And then bipolar disorder, which is episodes of mood swings, and then dementia, I think, which is thinking and social system symptoms that interest daily function. And then I'll have something right next to me explaining it more what dementia is. Obsessive compulsive disorder, which is excessive thoughts that lead to repetitive behaviors. So, I guess just talking so much can be one for this type of disorder. And then now, my disorder, which I'm going to explain here, which is autism, which is impaired to communicate and interact, is what I have on my card here. And then I have like a little screenshot right next to me about autism. So if you want to read that, take a pause to this video and go ahead and read it. But I'll go on to the next thing that I have, which is post-traumatic stress disorder, which is a person difficulty to recover, a person difficulty to recover from a terrifying event. So if something terrifying happened, like their parents died, or someone very close to them died, or someone who was in a relationship with a guy and that guy decided to kill himself for some crazy reason. And so if you guys are wondering, I'm going to also talk about what a mental illness is. And the definition for a mental illness is, according to the CDC, mental illnesses are conditions that affect a person's thinking, feeling, mood, or behavior, such as depression, anxiety, bipolar disorder, or schizophrenia, if you guys know how to pronounce that. Such conditions may be occasional or long-lasting chronic and affect someone's ability to relate to others and function each day. So that is what a mental illness is, if you guys are wondering. How common are mental illnesses? And mental illness are among most common health conditions in the United States, according to the CDC. More than 50% will be diagnosed with a mental illness or disorder at some point in their lifetime. 1 in 5 Americans will experience a mental illness in a given year. 1 in 5 children, either currently or at some point during their life, have had a seriously debilitating mental illness. 1 in 25 American lives with a serious mental illness, such as schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, or major depression. And then what causes mental illnesses is, according to the CDC, again, there is no single cause for mental illnesses, a number of factors can contribute a risk for mental illness, such as early adverse life experiences like trauma or history of abuse or sexual assault or child abuse, experiences related to other ongoing medical conditions like cancer or diabetes, um, biological factors such as genes, chemical imbalances in the brain, and use of alcohol, drugs, having few friends, and having feeling of loneliness or isolation. So that is, according to the CDC, is what mental illnesses are and how common and what causes these mental illnesses. So I'm going to go through here. Attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, which is ADHD for short, which is one most common childhood mental disorders. It's one of the most, and it can continue through adults in adulthood. People diagnosed with ADHD may have trouble paying attention, controlling impulsive behaviors, may act without thinking about what the result will be, or be overly active, is according to the CDC here. Disruptive behavior disorders, which is involve a pattern of disruptive behaviors in children that last for at least 6 months, it says here, and cause problems in school, at home, or in situations. Behavioral symptoms can also continue into adulthood, and that is what disruptive behavior disorders are. Depression and other mood disorders. While bad moods are common and usually pass in short period, people suffering from mood disorders live with more consistent and severe symptoms. People living with this mental illness find that their mood impacts both mental and psychological well-being nearly every day and often much of the day. According to the CDC, it is estimated that 1 in 10 adults suffer from some type of mood disorder, with the most common conditions being depression and bipolar disorder. With proper diagnosis and treatment, most of those living with mood disorders lead healthy, normal, and productive lives. If left untreated, this illness can affect role, functioning, quality of life, and many long-lasting physical health problems such as diabetes and heart disease is what it can lead to. And then there's like eating disorders. So it can be obsessive and sometimes distressing thoughts and behaviors, including reduction in food intake, overeating, like on junk food or whatever, feelings of depression or distress, concern about weight, body shape, or poor self-image. And common types of eating disorders include anorexia, bulimia, and binge eating. And then personality disorders. Here on the CDC website, it says people with personality disorders have extreme inflexible personality traits that cause problems in work, school, or social relationships. And that social relationship part is, borderline personality disorder is what it is. And then the next thing here is post-traumatic stress disorder, which is a person can get PTSD after living through or seeing a traumatic event, which I explained earlier. It can be a war, a hurricane, physical abuse, or a serious accident that may taken place in their life. And you can read the rest by pausing the video, and I have the screenshot right next to me right here. There's a Syntheria spectrum and other psychotic disorders, which is people with psychotic disorders hear, see, and believe things that aren't real or true. And then the last thing here I see here from the CDC is the substance use disorders, which can involve drugs and alcohol. and can cause significant impairment such as health problems, disability, and failure to meet major responsibilities at work, school, or home. Substance use problems can be fatal or to the user or others. Examples include drink driving, fatalities, and drug overdoses. Mental illness and substance use disorders are often occur together. Sometimes one disorder can be a contributing factor or can make the other worse. Sometimes they simply occur at the same time. So a lot can happen when you're feeling multiple emotions and doing a lot of things. And like, depending on the activities you do in life, leads to whatever result for you to be to of you being to have a disorder, a mental health disorder in your life. And that's why the CDC is saying that 1 in 5 Americans may have or will have a mental health illness affected to them. According to the National Institute of Mental Health, in their overview of what this is, it says borderline personality disorder is an illness marked by an ongoing pattern of varying moods, self-image, and behavior. These symptoms often result in impulsive actions and problems in relationships. People with borderline personality disorder may experience intense episodes of anger, depression, and anxiety that can last from a few hours to days. Signs and symptoms they mention is people with borderline personality disorder may experience mood swings and display uncertainty about how they see themselves and their role in the world. As a result, their interests and values change quickly. People with borderline personality disorder also tend to view things in extremes, such as good or all bad, all good or all bad. Their opinions of other people can also change quickly. An individual who is seen as a friend one day may be considered an enemy or traitor the next. These shifting feelings can lead to intense and unstable relationships. Yeah. So that is it on mental health, and then we're going to head over to the next segment of the show,